For more on this Raptors victory, we're joined by our Raptors reporter, Josh Lewenberg. Josh, great to see you. Happy New Year to you, my friend. Hey, this worked out pretty good. R.J. Barrett, 19 points. Immanuel Quickley, 14 points in the Raptors' debuts. What did you think of how the two new Raptors played? And what are you thinking about their roles as the season continues on here?
Well, listen, I was impressed. Was it perfect? No. I mean, RJ had some late game turnovers, and Immanuel Quickley missed a few floaters late in the game. I'm sure he'd like to have back. But all things considered, when you consider that they just showed up yesterday, they've been through a crazy couple days with the trade. For them to come in and make the impact that they did, I thought was pretty impressive. And clearly it was contagious too, right? Because it just felt like being in this building, the energy in the arena felt different. The energy on the court looked different. And I think so much of that came from the two new players. I mean, this is a Raptors team clearly that's been struggling, that's been in need of some new blood, some different faces. And they got that with a couple guys that played really hard. I mean, Quickley picked up 4 quick fouls, which I think spoke to how aggressive he was being. But again, it's something I think this team really needed. And in terms of the role, the fact that Darko Rakovic had both guys starting in their first game, again, considering that they just got to Toronto the day before, speaks to the commitment that this organization has in both of them. That's why they went out and made the trade, especially for a guy like Immanuel Quickley, who this team really sees as being part of the future with Scotty Barnes, the type of dynamic guard that they've been looking to pair with Scotty. They're clearly going to have big roles moving forward here this year and beyond.
And yet, as good as they were, Josh, the best Raptor on the floor, once again, Pascal Siakam, great night, 36 points. And lots of speculation that the pending free agent could be on the move after the Anunoby trade. What do you see happening with him and the rest of the team as we head toward that February 8th trade deadline?
Yeah, listen, the roster makes more sense, I think, now than it did a week ago. It doesn't make complete sense yet, and I think that's why a lot of people that I've spoken to around the league are of the belief that there are other moves to be made, subsequent moves that this team could make before the February 8th trade deadline. And yes, a lot of people are just assuming that Siakam is the next to go, and he may be. I mean, the fact that they just got younger doesn't necessarily bode well for a player who's going to turn 30 before the end of the season. But I don't think it's a foregone conclusion for a few reasons. I mean, this is a front office that is generally pretty open-minded. So even if trading Siakam might be plan A, I think they're open to letting things breathe a little bit and seeing where this goes. From what I've heard, there hasn't been any recent traction on a Siakam trade, so nothing is imminent. And I think if we just look at the track record of Masai Ujiri in this front office, there was a time 10 years ago where everybody was sure that Kyle Lowry would follow Rudy Gay out the door, and he almost did, coincidentally, in that trade with New York that fell through. But, of course, Ujiri waited things out a little bit. He wanted to see what that team looked like, how the new guys meshed with the old guys. And the great thing about making a trade now 5 weeks out from the trade deadline, just over 5 weeks out from the trade deadline, is it gives them the time to do that again if they choose. So I wouldn't be surprised if that's the route that they choose to take here. And if that's the case, then this is a really important few-week stretch here coming up for this team that could ultimately determine what comes next, if anything. And
a great way for new teammates to find chemistry with their new team is to go on a road trip, and that's exactly what the Toronto Raptors are about to do. A 6-gamer Western Conference. It'll begin in Memphis on Wednesday. Josh Lewenberg, that's a terrific jacket. Thanks for this, my friend. We appreciate it.